So Canada just defeated Anguilla 8-0 to move to 2-0 in their Group A fixtures for U17 qualifiers for the World Cup. What does it mean? Well, let's talk about it. All right, guys, welcome back to What Does It Mean? It's basically our match recap. So if you are new to this, we usually do these after every game that we've watched. We've been covering a lot of men's U17 here. Fun note, the women U17 played England today. No coverage of the match, but we know that they fell 2-0. Once we get a little bit more information on that, we'll try to post something up there. And we have some women friendlies coming up soon. So February is going to be a tough month, but we're going to survive. So if you like this type of content, we primarily do Canadian and African content. So leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and let us know. So 8-0 in their group. Usually, I like to acknowledge the game, the opposition. I think it's important to hear, mainly because there is Anguilla's best player to me was their goalkeeper. He stood on his head, took a few shots to the head too. So the boy went through it in every way. He went through it. He was battling it, but he was keeping Anguilla in it at the beginning of it, but wasn't able to do enough. Canada was able to figure some things out moving forward. So let's talk a little bit about this game, what we saw, what we learned moving forward with what we saw. So looked like Canada started off in a 4-4-2. Pretty much rotated everyone except for the left side of the defense. So Richard Chukwu and Moise Achange, those were the only two players who started the first game. Other than that, you had Elijah Rocher, you had John Silamani playing, you had Anton Bosenberry, you had Timothy Fortier, you had Sadek, you had William Daniels, you have Ainero, and then you had Aiden Evans. Those were your starting 11 with Jonathan Ransom in goal. We're not going to make a Ransom joke. We'll go from there. William Daniels gets the game going in the 9th minute after a chip is put in by Aiden Evans. And ultimately, it's bumbled. He puts it in, it's 1-0. And the game goes on from there. Aiden Evans adds in 2 goals in the 36th and the 39th minute off crosses from William Daniels. Sadek scores in the 43rd, making it 4-0 for Canada. Then Ainero scores in the 65th minute. Sergei Kozlovsky scores in the 68th minute. John Silamani scores in the 82nd minute, and then Kevin Kahn scores in the 90th plus 4 minutes, meaning they win this game 4-0 each half, 8-0 overall. When you watch a game like this, you always wonder what are the things that you can take from this. For me, and I was posting on Blue Ski for this game because Blue Sky. I call it Blue Ski because who knows. Anguilla basically played the lowest low block that they could. Pretty much for most of the first half, Anguilla was playing with 10 players, box and in, and then the goalkeeper. So shooting lanes were difficult. You had to be creative, and you had to find space. Movement was important. Opening up had to happen. And I think to their credit, Baby Rouge, Baby Reds, you saw them have to work it, but then eventually they figured out ways to beat this low block. They had some good passes to Bosenberry opening up. Aiden Evans was I think if there was a player of the match in this game, for me, it certainly is. It certainly is William Daniels. Daniels to me is the player of the match here. Very active throughout most of the game. A lot of the attacking options were coming through him. But if you can't beat a low block, open up movement, drag some players out, or what they started to do about halfway through the first half was, how do you beat a low block? You beat it to the spot. So whenever they would get the ball, whenever they stretch out, they were breaking the lines with passes, turning upfield. Now they're creating rushes, odd man rushes situations, and they were finding opportunities. Weren't able to close everything, but you saw them say, okay, we can't beat this by standing and passing. We can if we want to be patient, but we can open this game up if we try to play defensively. I think that was very much needed. And it's great to see both on a coaching staff, but both as players, see young players saying, okay, if we can't beat it this way, let's try something else. You saw them go to the drawing board, and I think that was encouraging for Canadians to watch that. For a game that was, again, 80% rotated, to be pretty much in control of the game 6-0 and be playing in one-way traffic, I think that's great. You're able to rest the players who started on Sunday, which means that leading into Thursday, which we'll talk about a little bit later, they're a little bit fresher and ready to go. So I liked what I saw. Elijah Roche picks up Roche, if I've said that wrong, guys, I do apologize. He picks up a yellow here early in the game, but ultimately they looked good in terms of what they were trying to do. I think if you look at this game, one of my things I'd say maybe we could have done a better job at again would be set pieces. They had 23 corners in this game, according to Google. 23 corners. And I think they scored off of one or two of them. Now, you're not going to get 23 corners in all your games. That just speaks to dominating possession and moving that way. But if they could be a little bit more lethal, a little bit more clinical with their set pieces. We saw Sergei Kozlovsky score off a set piece, which was beautifully well worked. But they need to be a little bit more clinical with their shots. Overall, according to Google, 62 shots, 22 on target, 8 goals, meaning the other, 14 were saved by Anguilla's goalie, right? Sean Brown did a wonderful job in what he did there. Other substitutions that kind of were just bringing players on. Kozlowski came in, Kevin Kahn came in, Tortola came in, Sahil Deo came in, and I'm missing one substitution. But those were the 5 subs. Pretty much you're able to give the starters from Sunday a rest, and now we get ready for, I think, what a lot of people are looking at as the game of this group. Thursday comes up. They play Curacao. Curacao also undefeated in their group. Behind because of goals. Canada scored 14 goals in their group, and Curacao are not at 14. And so as a result, Canada is at the top of the group. And I watched the Curacao game a little bit earlier just to kind of have a feel what they might look. It's a classic Dutch passing side. Now, the interesting thing with this game is you have 2 sides, and it's going to be something's going to have to give here. Both teams have played with the majority possession. Now, what will be interesting will be, can Curacao pass through Canada's pressure, or can Canada pressure Curacao into mistakes? We'll kind of have to wait and see overall, because I think that's going to be the game. I think Canada has shown that they can pressure teams, and they're afraid to pressure them. Curacao might be the only team that could test that theory in terms of being able to pass through it. Their press wasn't always organized. It seemed a little bit chaotic, which was probably what they were going to. They weren't necessarily spaced well always, but they got the job done in terms of speeding players up and getting some turnovers. Anguilla was, again, playing more so to defend, tried to get a few counter opportunities, didn't really do so. And so, as a result, you have an 8-0 score. But Curacao versus Canada, Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I think that's the matchup we're all looking forward to. And again, like we said, Canada's going to come out and try to pressure, and Curacao is going to have to pass through that pressure. I think whoever is able to accomplish that a little bit better, they will be the victors and more than likely be the group winners and head off to the World Cup, the U17 World Cup this summer. I'm very much excited to see what that game looks like. But you guys let me know if you watched the game. What did you like? What didn't you like? Who are your players of the game? For me, William Daniels, active throughout the first half, was creating movements. I liked what I saw from him. And now, again, if you need to take off Sholajimo, if you need to take off Ali Gasparsad, you have Daniels, who's proving to be a solid player and a contributor as well. But we'll wait and see. Thursday at 2 is when the game is. Guys, let me know who were your players of the match. What did you like? What didn't you like? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I'm going to stop talking right here.